There is a gap between contemporary urban planning theory and practice, recognised by researchers such as Hall, Sandercock and Castells. Not only does this schism exist within the urban planning and design field, but also in regard to the social purpose and cultural meaning of the city. The proposed integral city model responds to Castells' call for a multi-dimensional, transdisciplinary framework for cities. The integral city model aims to bridge the schism identified by Hall, Sandercock and Castells between urban theory and the well-being of people in cities, between the ideal and the real. This problem or schism persists in an era of increasing global urbanization, where for the first time in human history, the majority of people live in cities. Our ways of urban living, our cities, are threatening the biosphere, life on the planet, and in turn, civilization. Our cities, or human habitation, need holistic redesign to be livable habitats for all species. The significance of bridging the urban theory practice divide within the 21st century is all the more urgent within the current context of disruptive change facing the planet and its cities. Cities are agents of ecological, socio-cultural and techno-economic transformation. In a rapidly changing urban world, new challenges need new thinking to improve our strategic planning toolbox for our cities and towns. We need holistic approaches to city foresight and city development. Ken Wilber's four-quadrant model recognises different frames of reference or orders of knowledge, internal and external worlds across individual and collective frames of reference. Ken Wilber also maps a holarchy of being comprising four levels of reality from various traditions and philosophies, past and present. These are the physiosphere, biosphere, noosphere and theosphere. Ken Wilber integrates the four-quadrant model with the holarchy of being to propose a multi-dimensional epistemology of the cosmos. The integral city meta-framework is generated using Wilber's integral epistemology. Now it follows that an integral meta-framework ought to propose 16 meta-criteria or attributes for an integral urban theory to populate the four orders of knowledge or truths across the four levels of reality. A literature review and comparative analysis of urban research and theories explaining the nature of the city provided the thematic propositions to bootstrap within the integral city framework. In brief, a multi-dimensional teleology of the city ought to explain how it delivers the following purposes. At the material dimension, or physis, the city is the locus of personal place and shelter, production and exchange, communal places, and defensible space. At the biological ecological dimension, bios, the city is the locus of personal sensed experience, healthy human habitat, holistic moral ethics and truth claims, and deep ecology, healthy habitat for all living entities. At the psychosocial dimension, or Nous, the city is the locus of personal dreams and expectations, personal agency and action, diverse cultural dreams, value systems, norms and memories, and collective knowledge, agency and action. At the metaphysical dimension, or Theos, the city is the locus of personal spiritual beliefs, myths and rites, self-actualization and awareness, sacred collective action, and collective bliss and enlightenment, the peaceful city. The meta-framework provides multi-dimensional criteria for a 21st century model of the city based on the full spectrum of human consciousness. Through these meta-criteria or attributes, the city reveals itself as a multi-dimensional habitat, Physis, Bios, Nous and Theos, within the cosmos for human and non-human exchange that allows civilization to realize its potential. Being a multi-dimensional tool, recognizing the city as a holon within the cosmos, the model may be used as a reframing tool, a holism tool, and a socio-cultural transformation tool. The integral meta-framework of the urban condition may also be used to reframe the urban problematique from various stakeholder perspectives. For example, stakeholder perspectives may be appreciated from their dominant level of reality. For example, politicians may focus on addressing the observable material impacts and losses of flooding in the city. Design experts and planners may focus on the ecosystem services of flood retention provided by green infrastructure within the city. Various movements converge around the psychosocial and resilience factors of people and communities to adapt and recover quickly from flooding, whilst visionaries, artists and spiritual leaders may focus on the metaphysical qualities of the city and how communities might celebrate annual flood events. The integral city framework may be used to conduct a holism policy action audit of a city or settlement. The audit reveals what policies or coordinated action across the material, ecological, psychosocial, and metaphysical dimensions of urban development are lacking. For example, this table summarizes the results of a case study holism audit conducted for a new knowledge town being developed in Australia. A score of 0 means there is no policy and no coordinated action in place. A score of 1 means there is a policy in place but no coordinated action. A score of 2 means there are both policy and coordinated action in place. For this specific new town, the assessment supports previous arguments by researchers such as Christopher Alexander and Leonie Sandercock that modernist and postmodernist models of city planning are impoverished because they do not explore how to create a city that spiritually delights. The integral city framework clearly shows that the future of the city is most dependent on the development of people through participatory community visioning and action planning. Therefore, urban transformation is more effective if it is multidimensional. An integral city model that acknowledges this and abstracts the dynamic relations between urban and cultural change is sorely needed in this rapidly changing age, providing an impetus for holistic city futures. The integral framework bridges theory and practice because the meta-attributes of the city may each be considered as construction sites for the resolution of tensions between urban structure and system, or properties versus practices. In this sense, they each signal a nexus for collective, purposive communication and action. The integral meta-framework by itself does not resolve all contradictions, it merely locates them for cities to take collective action. The nature of that action in history will undoubtedly create new contradictions. The benefit of an integral or holistic policy framework for city development is that it arguably bridges the schism between urban planning theory and practice by articulating the 21st century city's purpose, thereby constructing a bridge towards a healthy, humane habitat.